His Excellency, Governor Udom Emmanuel is here, sir. I have the permission to bring him, sir.
Akwa Ibom House of Assembly, all the former speakers here present, distinguished senators, members of the House of Reps, other members of the National Assembly, Honorable Deputy Speaker and members of this hallowed chamber, other principal officers of Akwa Ibom House of Assembly, the governorship, deputy governorship candidates of PDP and all other candidates here present, I think I saw the national ex-official, the chairman of our party, the DG of the campaign council, the secretary to the state government, head of the civil service, honorable commissioners, special advisors, members of the Akwa Ibom State Executive Council, heads of security agencies, chairman of boards and commissions, especially the chairman of this Assembly Service Commission, leader and members of Congress, the clerk of the House, permanent secretaries, management and staff of this Assembly, chairman of local government areas led by the outgoing chairman, senior citizens, elders, captains of industry, specially invited guests, members of NGOs. I just want to believe the Nigeria Labour Congress is here too, and NUC. Let me also summarize by saying, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, I want to say, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, I came here also with my eldest brother, as you rightly noted, as my last appearance on the budget presentation. As tradition demands and the fulfillment of my constitutional responsibility, I'm honored to be here again today in this hallowed chamber to present the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2023. Before I proceed to present my speech, let me place on record my sincere gratitude and appreciation for the great partnership we forged in the last 7.5 years, all in the service of our dear state and our people. Let me thank the State Assembly for the outstanding work they did, especially the former Speaker, Right Honorable Onofia Luke, now our representative at the National Assembly for Tin and Federal Constituency, and indeed all the honorable members of that seat assembly. That we've been able to rewrite the Akwa Ibom story and record spectacular achievements that the nation today is celebrating is because of the unflinching support and cooperation we received during the foundational phases of our administration from the 6th Assembly. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, in the last 3.5 years, the 7th Assembly, under your leadership, has been rock solid in your support and cooperation with the executive arm of the government. We have enjoyed robust working relationship, cooperated on the critical issues germane to the development and growth of our dear state. And I want to place again on record my sincere gratitude to this honorable House. We came to serve the people of this state, and we have done exactly that. There have been no contentious stuff, issues. There has been no unnecessary bickering or political grandstanding. Ours have been cooperation in the service of our dear state, without losing the dividing line as stipulated in the principles of separation of powers. Even when we have some differences, which is expected, we have always resolved those issues without the resort to zero-sum game machinations. I know we can depend on you as we begin the winding process of what has been a great and consequential stewardship of our dear state. For partnering with me and the executive arm of government for the past 7.5 years to strengthen, facilitate, and fast-track the realization of our Akwa Ibom project in harmony, in concord and amity, I say thank you. History will record your place in the pantheon of our state's growth, the seeds of economic prosperity, and the fountains of development you have helped plant and turn on will continue to blossom and bear sustainable fruits for our people and our dear state. God bless you all. Let me also thank the great and wonderful people of our dear state, our stakeholders, our elders, our women, fathers in faith, the youths, the diasporans, and others who have come here to live and work. I want to thank you for your kind prayers, your words of encouragement, and even your constructive criticisms. To our critics and naysayers, I hope you someday come to appreciate what we have started here, the huge investments for tomorrow we have put in place, the mind shift we have engendered through the Dakada philosophy, and the strategic application of lean resources to achieve the most for the people and the state. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, my administration came on board with the initial 5 points agenda: job creation, poverty alleviation, wealth creation, economic and political inclusion, and infrastructural consolidation and expansion, with a view to changing the narrative of Akwa Ibom state economy. In my second term, the 5-point agenda was further re-strategized to the current 8-point completion agenda: industrialization, aviation development, security, infrastructure, small and medium-scale enterprises, human capacity development, agriculture, rural riverine area development, to change the fortunes of our people even further. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, permit me to, without sounding boastful, proclaim to this House that the goals and objectives of this economic growth and agenda have been achieved. A prominent son of our state recently declared that, in his estimation, he would give us a scorecard of at least 90%. Not minding that he belongs to a different political persuasion, I would agree with this unvarnished assertion. Not to mention where all presidential candidates today in this country wish Nigeria will one day be like Akwa Ibom State. This state is witnessing rapid industrialization and infrastructural renaissance with an economic growth rate of more than 5%. Achievements of this magnitude could not have been possible without the invisible hands of the Almighty God. To him alone be all the glory. I came to lift our state through the tripod of development, land, A and C, so as to jumpstart our drive to industrialize our state. I think we have achieved so much in that area. Today, there are over 25 fully functional industries, providing employment opportunities, creating wealth through value chain. The narrative of our state has been changed from a purely civil service-oriented state to a fast industrializing entity. The Jubilee syringes, which is the largest in Africa, has become a roaring success. Today, we can meet the demands of syringes despite producing at full capacity. We cannot meet the demand. The flour mill, the most automated in the Niger Delta today, is a testament to our vision. You need to go to some of these factories to see the volume of businesses that are being transacted, to appreciate what we have done. Thousands of people have been employed and distributors are smiling their way to the bank. The St. Gabriel Coconut Refinery is a testament to our vision and creativity. When the world moves away from oil and other means to power, the economy, future generations of Akwa Ibomites will remember that a leader blessed with vision saw beyond what others saw and positioned us for a life after oil. Similarly, I'm sure if you get to most of the riverine areas, especially Eastern Obolo, you would see how the economic growth foundation being led across the entire state. The car manufacturing plant will soon commence the assembling and manufacturing of buses and other automobiles, despite the setback that we're having with the current exchange rate and foreign exchange management processes in Nigeria. Our industrial clusters today produce such utility items that are being used among the households, including plastics and tissue papers, pencil, among others. Today, our state has Akwa Ibom State has about the best road network of any subnational in this country called Nigeria, our own country. Our state is easily linked seamlessly across senatorial districts for ease of movement of goods and services. In the course of our 35th anniversary, we commissioned a number of legacy road projects, including the 10-lane Idon Clement Isong Avenue with water fountains, a testament to the ingenuity of our local contractor. We commissioned the 29-kilometer dualized 18 Ndonoyo East-West Road, complete with 2 cable bridges, a beauty to behold. We commissioned the 12-kilometer Secretariat Road in Uleong Ediko Udeta Road with spur, the first of such roads in Udom Local Government area. In Nongokum Ikono area, Ikorekpan Road in Ikono Local Government area, and several internal roads within Uyo Metropolis, among others. The 8-lane airport expansion road is ongoing and will be commissioned before the end of this administration. We had earlier commissioned several other roads, including flyovers across the state. To address the perennial flood situation in the state, we had, in the life of this administration, tackled the erosion menace that had for decades rendered Nsikaredwok Avenue impassable. We sunk in billions of naira to address the problem, and today there are no more flooding on that critical avenue. In the lead up to our state 35th anniversary, we had commissioned the IBB Flood Control Project with assistance from the World Bank. We are grateful for the numerous messages of appreciation from our people for tackling a major problem that had affected the entire community within that secretariat and also many other communities across several local government areas to close to our state capital. We had also tackled other erosion and gully menaces in the state in the course of the last 7 years plus in this state. Today, our Dakada towers stand as tall as a signpost to our determination to attract further local and foreign investments and provide for them to lease benefit office accommodation that will be totally ICT compliant, befitting of any 21st century office space that is as intelligent and modern as any such anywhere in this country. We are glad to announce that numerous organizations, especially those in the oil and gas industry, have taken advantage of the glittering tower and have signed leases with the state government. In aviation development today, Udom Air, the first commercial airline ever owned by a subnational, has become a huge success. It is Nigeria's most preferred airline with a fleet of 7 aircraft, including 2 Airbus A220-300 series. Plans are at advanced stage to add 10 more brand new Airbuses to increase this fleet to 17. Our maintenance, repair, and overhaul hangar is at over 95% completion, and we hope to commission this economically viable project before the end of this administration. We have also seen the advanced work that is going on at our international terminal building at the Victor Ota International Airport. This terminal building, which we also hope to commission before the end of this administration, will be the most intelligent and smartest of any such terminals in this country, and indeed in the entire sub-region. Our taxiway is also scheduled for commissioning within the same period. We have invested huge resources in our healthcare delivery services and have kept our campaign promises to build, remodel, and equip with modern amenities secondary healthcare facilities, such as general hospitals in all the 10 federal constituencies. During the celebration of our state's 35th anniversary, we commissioned the General Hospital in Ikorabasi, complete with world-class medical equipment and facilities. We had earlier in the life of this administration, commissioned several orders across all the 10 federal constituencies. He's glad to mention that even the theater we have today at the General Hospital in Ikodobasi can go for any teaching hospital in anywhere in this continent of Africa. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we successfully built and equipped with 2 PNR laboratories, the Infectious Disease Control Center at the Tumba, complete with the largest oxygen plant in this country. Our intensive care unit at the Udom Specialist Hospital is considered one of the most advanced in this nation. Our medical professionals are constantly exposed to trainings to bring them up to speed with modern realities in healthcare management. And I'm also glad to let people know that today, with our fantastic road network across the state, it will take anybody not more than 30 minutes to get help by road, but some much lesser in terms of minutes. But anybody can get help from any of these modern healthcare facilities, secondary healthcare facilities, within a maximum of 30 minutes of any emergency. I think that's a record in this country. In the area of education and human capacity development, we have through Interministerial Direct Labor Coordinating Committee in conjunction with SUBEB, built over 4,000 classroom blocks and equipped them with facilities to enhance the environment of learning for our children. Education remains free up to secondary school level, and we are still paying WAEC fees of over 700 million naira for our indigent students. We have employed 1,000 teachers to beef up our secondary school from the last report I gave, and staffing needs are being met not only in secondary schools, in primary schools, and in tertiary institutions. That's over 3,000 of our youths have been trained in various skills, and our Skills Acquisition Center at Ikot Adaidem is posed to train even more, as we would have skilled manpower to man key positions in the industries we have attracted to those and even those to come. We are determined to ensure that our students are competitive and prepared to face the ICT-defined world and the opportunities that abound therein. We are developing their entrepreneurial skills as well. In our Greek sector, we have ensured that our staple food items are made available and at affordable prices for our people. The Agricon rice in Ini, local government area, the numerous Gari processing plants have helped reduce the price of some of their staple foods. Through greenhouse of 90%, not minding that it belongs to different, and also we are moving the technology forward. We're able to produce such needed farm produce as tomatoes, onions, cucumber, amongst others. It is also worth of mentioning that as of today, we give inputs free to our farmers to actually also help in massive production of food items. We have given free cassava stems, fertilizers, and of course, the interest-free loans from Udom Fadama Microfinance Bank. The long moribund aqua palm plantation in Esreke has been resuscitated. 2 weeks ago, we embarked in the second edition of our planting of coconut to feed the virgin coconut refinery. And within that period, we added additional 300,000 seedlings of coconut. In the power sector, we have rebuilt several substations, and the Udom Power plant today generates over 155 megawatts of electricity. We had promised power for all, and today I'm proud to say that out of 2,274 gazetted villages in our state, only less than 5% are yet to be hooked onto the national grid. And we are working hard to ensure that those villages are hooked before we leave office next year. There has been a remarkable improvement in the hours of electricity we enjoy. This as a result of the resources we have sunk into that sector. And it might also gladden your heart to know that just a few weeks ago, we've awarded another contract to construct a major power substation in the Temekpo local government area to cater for Okanafun, the Temekpo, Ika, and part of Orogonam local government areas. In sports and tourism, our state still remains the destination of choice for most Nigerians. Today, we enjoy almost full hotel occupancy across the Uyo metropolis. Our football teams are doing great in the National League, and we have won 2 national trophies in the life of this administration. We have commissioned the Eket International Stadium, an 18,000-seater masterpiece, and our dream is to catch young talents early and expose them to the best facilities that will help them earn their skills. We have opened up the rural and the riverine areas and constructed numerous feeder routes aimed at stemming rural-urban migration. Let me use this opportunity to thank our security agencies for partnering with us to have a state that is being adjudged as one of the safest in the nation. We couldn't have achieved this huge milestone without your cooperation. We thank them for the partnership and the collaboration. Permit me also to thank our resourceful youths who themselves have decided to take ownership of the peace and tranquility we enjoy and have worked to safeguard it. I know the incoming administration can count on you to continue to protect, safeguard, and maintain peace in Akwa Ibom State. We have worked this far together, and I know you stand ready to work with us in the coming months to deliver more growth for our state and our dear people. Let me begin by thanking the House for approving the 2023 to 2025 medium-term expenditure framework to allow the full commencement of this 2023 budget process. Social investment and poverty alleviation programs. Mr. Speaker, sir, with the remaining part of the year 2022, the state government will implement the following under pro-poor expenditure program. 1, 12 months social transfer scheme. This will capture 1,950 beneficiaries who will receive 10,000 naira per month. 2, labor-intensive public workforce scheme. This will capture additional 1,560 indigents engaged to perform menial works with a monthly stipend of 10,000 naira each. This will last over a long period of time. 3, livelihood grant scheme. This will capture 975 indigents for short livelihood support accompanied with soft skills, training, and one-off payment, not less than 190,000 naira each, and is targeted at self-employed youths of Akwa Ibom State. 4, food availability scheme. Through Fadama, about 6,964 farmers in the state will be provided with modern agricultural inputs and services. Additional 5,735 farmers in the state will access improved agricultural infrastructure such as construction or rehabilitation of canals, roads, and warehouses, while 8,125 farmers will access agric assets to step up agricultural production and small-scale food processing. This will be followed by upgrading of 78 wet markets with water and sanitation facilities. Number 5, small and medium-scale enterprises scheme. About 14,000 SMEs in the state will be captured for a grant of 100,000 to 150,000 to incentivize employment retention following several boosts of economy post-COVID-19 lockdowns that affected small and medium-scale businesses in the state. Please, all citizens should avail themselves of these opportunities. The Honorable Commissioner for Economic Development will give more details on the implementation modalities. Review of the performance of 2022 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of 631.881 billion was approved for 2022 fiscal year, with a total recurrent expenditure of 302.9 billion and the capital votes of 328.9 billion. The breakdown is as follows: recurrent 302.9, capital 328.9. As of September 2022, the total recurrent revenue collected was 211 billion, representing 92.6% of the prorated approved provision for the period. The sum of 132.7 was realized from other capital receipts, excluding recurrent surplus.
This represents 53.9% of the prorated approved provision for that period. Only call it 54%. In reappraising expenditure, a total of 152.8 billion was spent on recurrent services, representing 67.3% of the prorated provision for the period. A total of 134.68 billion was spent on capital programs within the same period, which represents 54.6% of the prorated provision for that period. Our capital budget expenditure is described in details in the budget implementation report, which has been prepared to facilitate your consideration of the draft 2023 budget. Operating with the framework of the approved revised budget and limits of available resources, we have been able to record remarkable achievements in our industrialization drive, in healthcare delivery, aviation development, agric, education, road infrastructure, and others. We have also consolidated on the gains of democratic governance and expanded the frontiers of development across all sectors. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, the 2022 budget was christened the budget of redefining standards. Our intention here was to take stock of our achievements in the past 6.5 years and consolidate the gains of our achievement thus far for sustainable expansion and growth. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, by the grace of God, this administration has completed many projects it met uncompleted, and new ones it also started. We hope to complete all ongoing projects we initiated before final exit of this administration on May 29, 2023. To this end, and taking into cognizance the fact that a new administration will come into power for the same goal of good governance and effective project actualization, the 2023 budget is christened Budget of Completion. Policies, objectives of 2023 budget. Mr. Speaker, the policy objectives of 2023 budget include: 1, stimulating the state's economy and creating opportunities of gainful employment through industrialization, agriculture, including A and C infrastructure. Sustained growth through rapid industrialization and job creation, infrastructural investments, roads, sports, tourism, solar power, communication technologies, aviation, and sea infrastructure. Number 3, continued support for small and medium-scale enterprises as the engine of our economy to encourage local capability in manufacturing and use of our locally made products for domestic use exports. Number 4, create jobs using labor-intensive methods in key areas such as agriculture, housing, interministerial and ministerial direct labor intervention, etc. 5, amelioration of poverty among the vulnerable groups in our society, including women and people living with disabilities, through pro-poor spending. 6, economic diversification to create more wealth, sustainable employment, and food sufficiency. 7, health and environmental safety to maintain a healthy population and also mitigate the adverse effects of climate change. 8, pursue morally, culturally, technologically based education to ensure that our human capital competes with their peers globally. And we also intend, because of the capacity of the current specialized Navy school in Ikontwen, I think we are also in the process of adding probably another girls' Navy school as soon as possible to commence before the end of this administration. The policy thrust of 2023 budget. Mr. Speaker, the policy thrust of 2023 budget will focus on consolidating the gains of the 8-point completion agenda, and this include industrialization, education, aviation development, rural and riverine area development, agriculture, small and medium-scale enterprises, infrastructure expansion and consolidation, security and human capacity development. This is also to ensure inclusiveness in terms of employment, wealth creation, safe and habitable environment, productive welfare packages for the indigents, and improved service delivery in all aspects of government activities. Highlights of 2023 budget. The 2023 budget is predicated on an oil benchmark of $70 per barrel at a production rate of 1.69 million barrels per day, with an estimated exchange rate official of 435.57 to one United States dollars, in line with the national budget benchmark projection. We couldn't go outside the national benchmark. We needed to anchor it on them. How this will play out, I think it's only God that can determine, because this is what we got from the national. The national GDP has been projected at 3.75% growth rate, with national inflation rate of 17.16%. It is important to note also that the state inflation figure is far below the national figure. This is due to the state government's persistent intervention measures in the agri subsector to halt and reverse the rising cost of food commodities in Akwa Ibom State. Unfortunately, a drop in an ocean is most likely, the water in the ocean will always have so much influence and impact. No matter how we intervene, the impact and the influence from the other states still dominate and allow our people to follow the bandwagon. The 2023 budget size. Government has proposed a total budgetary outlay taking into account the level of inflation and the exchange rate, the fluctuation especially. And I may be permitted at this point, because of the level of fluctuation, to call it devaluation of our currency. That's made our outlay for next year at 697.005 billion for 2023 fiscal year, as against the approved revised provision of 631.881 billion 2022, representing an increase of 10% from 2022 revised budget. This made up of recurrent expenditure 344.005 billion, capital expenditure 353 billion, total 697.005 billion. State government revenue estimates. The total projected recurrent revenue for 2023 is estimated at 390.85 billion, as against the approved revised provision of 303.854 billion, representing 29% increase in revenue projection for the year 2023. That can easily be explained as our hope that the oil price will be stable at our projection. The breakdown is as follows. Internally generated revenue, 47.85 billion. Statutory revenue, 51 billion. Derivation revenue, 200 billion. Exchange gain, augmentation and others, 40 billion. Electronic money transfer levy, 12 billion. Value-added tax, 30 billion. Recurrent expenditure. For the 2023 fiscal year, recurrent expenditure, which is proposed at 344 billion, is made up of follows. Personnel costs, 80.05 billion. Overhead costs, 157.954 billion. Social contributions and benefits, 31.5 billion. Grant, contributions and subsidies, 1.5 billion. Public debt service, 73 billion. Total recurrent expenditure, 344.05 billion. Capital expenditure. The total capital receipts and expenditure for the year 2023 is estimated at 353 billion, as against the approved revised provision of 328.918 billion for 2022. Our total projected capital receipts shows that 46.845 billion will be transferred from the Consolidated Revenue Fund, while the balance of 306 billion is to be realized as follows. Opening balance of 2022 account, 40 billion. Direct credit substitutes and receivable discounting facility, 134.108 billion. External bank loan, if any, shall be only 4 billion naira. Grants shall be 15.79 billion. Ecological fund is budgeted at 5 billion. Reimbursement from federal government is budgeted at 250 million naira. Other exceptional income through exploration of the money market and other markets across the globe is estimated at 100 billion. This can only be done through creativity and ideas in creating money because of the nature of the economy across the globe. And stabilization account is estimated at only 2 billion naira, totaling 306.155 billion. Sectoral allocation. The sectoral allocation of the total budget outlay of 697 for the year is presented as follows. Administration, 149.2 economic 448.337, law and justice 12, regional 0.44, social 91.88 billion. Education. The education sector is essential to the actualization of the completion and transformation agenda. In order to produce people with the right skills to drive all sectors of the economy, the present administration will continue to place high priority on the provision of free, qualitative, and compulsory education at the basic levels. This is to ensure that every citizen is able to read and write, empowered to take active part in our political process, and decide for themselves the future they desire. As a state, we have henceforth resolved to pursue a morally, culturally, and technologically based education. That is, if we want our education to contribute meaningfully to nation building, including our homes and households, the sum of 50.644 billion has been budgeted to boost that sector. Healthcare. The state government will continue to develop and implement policies, programs, as well as undertake other necessary actions that will further strengthen the state healthcare delivery system to deliver effective, accessible, efficient, affordable, and people-friendly health services in 2023. The state health insurance scheme will be established to ensure a robust access to health care services and to maintain a healthy population in the state for increased productivity. At this point, I would like to thank the State Ministry of Health for their efforts in curtailing the outbreak of COVID-19 in the state and others. That was very encouraging, and let me further task the ministry to fortify the state against the outbreak of monkeypox and other diseases. The sum of 30.492 billion has been earmarked for this sector. Under security, we will continue to maintain at all costs the peaceful and secured environment where lives and property are safe and secure to create enabling and conducive atmosphere for investment, recreation, tourism that boosts the productivity of our economy. The public service. The public service in the fulcrum upon is the fulcrum upon which government policies and programs are implemented. It is therefore under our keen attention to make it work optimally. To this end, in 2023, government will continue to ensure that the welfare of our workers and retirees remain a priority of the government. Appropriate training and retraining in line with extant laws on human capacity development will be pursued to meet present-day challenges of the system. At appropriate time, we'll continue to give car loans to deserving staff with cash reward for diligent workers in service. Mr. Speaker, I stand here again on a live program to challenge whosoever in the social media anywhere who says he or she has not received pension promptly over how many years now. Let the person walk up to the office of the head of service. I've made this announcement over and over again. I'm yet to see one person who will come out to challenge us that he has not been receiving pension regularly and promptly. We are not owing any pensioner any money, except that pensioner has not come out to identify and verify his or her own details. So whosoever has such a challenge should walk up to the head of service. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people do not understand the difference between pension and gratuity. And this must be adequately explained. Agriculture. Agriculture is a subsector that plays a critical and important role in the socio-economic and industrial development of our state. The present administration places premium on the growth and development of this subsector to enhance food security and raw materials for the industrial use and export, job and wealth creation, as well as improved revenue generation to the government. In 2023, we intend to invest heavily on this sector. To realize this aspiration, the sum of 15 billion has been budgeted for this subsector, 14.129 billion. Youth, sports, and tourism. In the year 2023, government intends to consolidate the gains so far achieved by vigorously pursuing all the programs, complete ongoing projects, implement routine activities, as well as introducing new programs to promote youth and sports development in the state. We will also promote cultural and sports tourism to engage our youths effectively and optimally and develop more talent. Infrastructure. Our infrastructural renaissance will continue to receive critical attention. I have always said, for industrialization to take its roots, we must invest heavily in land, A, and C infrastructure. You will agree with me that we have achieved a lot in these subsectors, as can be seen from the economically viable dualized roads we have constructed throughout the 3 senatorial districts. We'll also ensure that we complete all critical infrastructure projects as contained and outlined in our completion agenda. And I also want to congratulate Akwa Ibom State on what we achieved just 2 weeks ago on the Ibom Solutions Hub. It's going to be a major milestone towards industrialization of this state. That had been signed between us and the entire board of NNPC, and then the Solutions Hub. And we're already in talks with the anchor tenants. And this will see the total transformation of the entire, coastal region, starting from Bologu government area. This we're in a haste to implement, as the funds for that project has already been set aside by the anchor tenants. Rural development. We'll continue to drive the development of our rural and riverine areas so as to reduce the rural-urban migration through the provision of electricity, feeder roads, and the promotion of large-scale farming, establishment of community cassava and palm oil mills to provide employment for rural dwellers. We'd like to use this opportunity also to appeal to some of these rural dwellers. Once we provide inputs for agriculture, let our people benefit from at least low cost of the agri-produce to our own people. Please, because this is the essence of the input and the subsidy provided by the state government, is to keep the prices of this, especially the staple food, at affordable prices for our citizens. 2023 budget implementation strategies. With all this, what are our strategies to realize the 2023 budget objectives? We intend to partner with foreign investors to invest in the relevant and key sectors of the state economy and undertake robust human capital development. Widen the industrial base of the state through rapid industrialization and investment activities by providing enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. This is to enhance the availability of goods and services for domestic use as well as export. We intend to achieve at least 10% increase in our IGR by eliminating evasion in payment, wastages and leakages in collection, and expenditure and development of tourism potentials. We intend to stimulate agri and agro-light industries to boost production of local farmers to ensure food sufficiency for local consumption, export, as well as the provision of raw materials for our industries. We also intend to expand and improve infrastructure and services in the healthcare service delivery system at primary and secondary school and primary and secondary levels of this healthcare system, and to safeguard the state against any further public emergencies. Public health emergencies, because COVID-19 taught us a major lesson, and any other pandemic. Please, we also will use our opportunity to educate the people on the current invasion of Lassa fever in some parts of Nigeria. We intend to improve service delivery in the education sector with emphasis on culturally, morally, and technologically based education system. We will continue to empower the women and the youths through capacity building, empowerment, skill acquisition, and elimination of gender discrimination practices. We will enhance delivery of qualitative and prompt services by public servants through effective intra- and interministerial and department and agencies collaboration. To this end, the automation of the civil service is at advanced stage. We will provide recreational and sporting facilities to increase life expectancy, boost sports development, and ensure improved performance of the state representatives at local, national, and international sporting competition. We will strengthen the performance monitoring mechanism with central coordinating unit at the Ministry of Economic Development. We'll improve fiscal transparency and accountability in all MDAs with emphasis on cost effectiveness in all programs and projects of government. We will not just relax simply because we are being commended, including the last commendation by the American Consul General on our transparency in financial reporting. We'll actually strengthen this a lot more. We'll adopt the principles of cost minimization and waste reduction in all government expenditure. Promote cultural and sports tourism to earn foreign exchange for Akwa Udom State. We would ensure that all costs are wholly, exclusively, reasonably, and necessarily incurred in the effective management of our lean resources. Conclusion, sir. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the Akwa Ibom House of Assembly, I want to thank you for your kind attention. Let me pause and celebrate God's goodness and mercies to us as a people and as a state. It is by His mercies that we have achieved all that we have achieved and all that we've enumerated as a state, and based on the resources and macroeconomic environment that we are operating, knowing that as a subnational, we don't control policies. We don't control the fiscal, we don't control the monetary policies. We only must actually align our developmental goals with these policies at the center. It is by His mercies that we have stepped up into this era of superior performance. It is by His mercies that this budget of completion will be judiciously implemented to achieve the lofty ideals of our forebears. I therefore appeal for your approval on my submissions and your support for its implementation. We promise a faithful implementation of this budget of completion for the general good of our people, our resolve to alleviate poverty and restore hope, create wealth, generate employment, stimulate agricultural and industrial development, and uplift the overall welfare of our people as it remains unflinching as our goal. I beseech you, therefore, to expeditiously consider and approve the 2023 budget proposals, as the relevant details will be provided by the Honorable Commissioner for Finance. Finally, let me once again thank the Almighty God that the same number that we started the House, this 7th House of Assembly, we've not lost a single person to death, to injury, or to ill health. It is just by the grace of the Almighty. And once again, I thank the Speaker and the honorable members of this House and the good people of Akwa Ibom State for the tremendous goodwill and overwhelming support extended to my administration. I will always remain eternally grateful to the Almighty God for this opportunity granted me to serve this state to the best of my ability, capacity, exposure, and to add my own quota to the growth, development, expansion, peace, unity, and sense of identity to our people. And today, I can confidently and conveniently say, we are leaving this state better than we met it. And we are leaving a state where every single person agrees that how they wish Nigeria can be like Akwa Ibom State. Thank you, and God bless you all. Akwa Ibom, Dakada, Ame, Medakanda.
Your Excellency, Lady General, ladies and gentlemen, permit me now to repeat the long list of protocols as already indicated at the President's Udom Emmanuel, number 4, Sector 10. Your Excellency, sir, permit me to share and formally welcome you to Sectoral Assembly for the implementation of the 2003 Appropriation Bill. Of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. which mandates the government to present the state budgets to the Federal Assembly for consideration and approval. Your Excellency, before I continue, let me use this medium to congratulate you for successfully hosting the 35th anniversary of Udom States, where a lot of projects were commissioned with global collaboration training. I also congratulate you on the appointment of the Chairman of the Democratic Party's Presidential Campaign Council. The signature posting of the presidential campaign plan is still stirring positive ripples in our nation's political environment. The body are very significant to me as much the last operation period of implementation that I will witness as a member and a speaker of this assembly, as well as His Excellency's last budget appearance before the House. I am grateful to God for giving me and my reliable colleagues the ability to serve our people and their representatives. I do not take this for granted. For 7 days, I have sat in these chambers listening to the well-powered submissions made by His Excellency during the presentation of previous appropriation bills. For 7 years, I have been involved in oversight activities in respect of budget implementation. Armed with the feedback as regards the performance of previous budgets, I can boldly say that our budgets are fared well in the areas of budget transition and implementation. So, without losing words, I will say that our state budget process are substantially compared with the standard of international public sector accounting standards, which is aimed at ensuring efficient internal control and result-based financial management in the public sector. These commendable feats are evident in the high level of transparency which has been the hallmark of this administration. It is heartwarming to this honorable House that the present administration has numerous occasions displayed prudence and accountability in the management of the Commonwealth of our state. This managerial skill has helped to fast-track good governance for the benefit of our people. The formation and implementation of sound and pragmatic economic policies have added value to the life of the fishermen who run the Corona farmers in Bali, the rafter business special in California, the traders in Ramafi, the worker in Bokeh, amongst others. The infrastructural readiness, human capacity development, and security of lives and property we are experiencing today is a clear pointer to the fact that government needs business. The Senate Assembly is mindful of the fact that the previous budget performance was enabled by the management of challenges ranging from decline in financial earnings of the federation accounts, youth security, and all that amongst negative trends. However, we are not tired by these challenges, and we see the diamonds in the rough. They require patience and ingenuity to make it better. It is our hope that the 2023 appropriation bill, the budget of completion introduced by the Excellency in Udom Emmanuel, will consolidate on the recorded achievements of previous financial years and enable the government to perfect its completion agenda. As the People's Assembly, we promise to be thorough and expeditious in our consideration of this budget for the prosperity of our people. To this extent, I want to urge all ministries, departments, and agencies of government to cooperate with the House of Assembly during the budget deferred sessions, so as to make the budget consideration and passage seamless. The Assembly will be in safe of all government decisions by way of oversight in a bid to ensure full compliance with appropriation law and other external laws and regulations. We pledge our board commitment to fund this economy and look forward to economic prosperity of our nation. Thank you and God bless us. I will now call the Leader of the House to do a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this great opportunity. Let me begin to welcome Mr. President for being here in eighth consistent time, and each of being the Thank you, President, for being consistent in this regard. As the Speaker said, the one who also won of our mandates to do this year, and I believe the cabinet and satisfaction. Long use of our years without missing a step. We also want to thank you for working more cooperatively with other arms of government. And of course, allow you to work with our communities in the administration. We also thank you for the high level of transparency and financial discipline as you handle public finances. State. Let me thank you especially for ensuring that the capital budget of the state is always higher than the government estimates. Of course, this is why I will really tell the federal government that it's unable to have some capital budget and we are sure that what our budget is something that our I've seen the budget presented as 60% of capital expenditures for the capital sector. I know that because it boosts economic activities and so that we move faster to analyze and aspirations in the proposal of the government that we see. Let me also thank you, sir. We are commitments in all we have done to ensure that the state is better than we see. Of course, that is the price. But we really do that. We will come to the city and take hands. But for what we have done so far, I think one of the cities of you and the world, and we are all to see our time to shake your hands and clap you. So thank you for doing all that. We expect that we will work together to show that the land properly, safely, and also show that whatever is good is according to the people of our this year. So today, we are doing then we come at it for always coming to everything going on, and top we are coming to the government. Not many governments will get it, but I think it's something we can finally, we are promising that we do what we can to ensure that we have some processes of the passing of this and the mission of doing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leader of the House. That is our very important thing to attend to. Who has motion to discharge us?
No, you must discharge the commitments and that is one of the people that I saw I have to do. Because what is in that is one of the languages for government. But because that let me rely on the vision of our land for us. But I feel free the allow you to know about what you are for us to eat. And continue
Thank you, Leader. Respectfully, you are with your me as a contribution of all members of the motion move that the secretary that this house to discharge changes to the level of the House. My father was the psychology that I made. The child government and storage. Those who don't